What's cracking, everybody? What up, what up, what up? Let's talk about becoming a content machine. That's what we're going to talk about today. So if you're producing a lot of content or you want to produce a lot of content, how do you produce a lot of content? I'm going to show you how to become a content machine. And so I've been doing this for a while in terms of just producing content, and I've gotten insanely efficient at producing a ton of freaking content, whether it's the videos, live, whether it's social media stuff, all that. I mean, even social media, I can actually increase it way more, to be honest. But how do you become a content machine? Let's see who's hopping on. If you guys are producing any type of content for your online brand, for your online presence, then you have to be really efficient and effective at the same time. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And I'm going to go into my whole workflow. I'll walk you through everything that I do with the workflow, and I'll describe the whole process, and then you just duplicate it. Just do the same thing if you're going to be producing a lot of content. All right. So what's up, everybody? What's up, Maggie? What's up, Angelina over there on Instagram, IG? So we're going to talk about the whole thing. I mean, if you guys have been producing any type of content, you'll know that it takes a lot of time. So you're sitting there. In the beginning, I remember I didn't think it was going to take a lot of time. I mean, in your mind, you don't put time in the equation. You're just like, I'm going to get 10 videos done today, and then I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do that. And then all of a sudden you're 2 videos in and you just wasted 4 hours, and you're like, dang, all right, I don't have a lot of time to do the other stuff. So I'm going to show you guys how to become a content machine where you're producing a ton of content. You're really efficient, really effective with it. It's good content, great content, and everything like that. So let's talk about that. In case you guys haven't noticed, I produce a ton of content, and it's not even what we could do. By the way, this isn't even half the amount of content that we could do. But let's just get straight into it. So once again, remember, when it comes down to creating content, this is one of the reasons why I tell people don't create content in the beginning. So if you're building an online brand, you don't start out with content because it will consume your time and what's going on inside of your brain, because you got to sit there and think of ideas. You got to actually film it. You got to edit the thing. You got to create the thumbnail. You got to create the headline. You got to post it to your blog. If you have several blogs, you post it to social media. I mean, you've got a lot of things. If you have an email list, you got to send it to your email list. So you got to write an email, then send that out. So there's a lot that goes into actually creating content instead of just sitting down and filming the thing. And when you realize a lot goes into it, you start to think of, how can I be more effective? How can I produce better content, more content, and how can I just do it faster, right? So that's what we're going to go over. What's up, Alex? What's up, Stacy, John, Paul? What up, everybody? All right. So first things first, and you hear this a lot when it comes to content, is people always say be consistent, right? And it's very, very true, but it's more of deciding to be consistent. It's a decision, right? When it comes to making a decision, what happens is you cut off all the other options that you have. So when you say, all right, I'm definitely going to decide to produce 2 videos a week or 3 videos a week or 1 video a day or whatever, you decide on something. You say, I'm going to produce X number of videos every single week. What happens is there is no other choice, right? So it's not, I didn't have time to do it. None of that. It's more of you decided and you scheduled time to do it. So I can't stress that part enough. If you don't decide to become a content machine, you simply won't. And this is where I tell a lot of people, you got to decide, like, why are you actually creating content in the first place? Because what's going to happen is, in the beginning, nobody's going to pay attention to you. Nobody cares about your content. None of that stuff. Nobody pays attention to you. And so you're not going to get all the views that you expected. It's going to be that way for a long time. I'm not talking about a week or a month. I'm talking about for at least a year. It's going to be that way for at least a year. And you're going to put all this work, all this effort into it, and nobody's going to pay attention. So you have to really think about, why are you producing content? And this is why I keep telling people, like, hey, I'm not producing content to be a YouTuber. I'm not a content creator. I'm a business. Like, I run a business. It just so happens we create content. And so you got to think, like, if I'm creating content, is it for selling a program, or what exactly am I creating content for? Because if you don't know what you're creating content for, you're just going to give up. You're going to get frustrated. People aren't going to watch, and you're just going to give up. Like, you're thinking to yourself, well, why am I spending all this time coming up with ideas and all that sort of stuff? Because it's not as fun as you think it is. And this is what I find kind of funny, because when a lot of people are looking at something from a distance, anything, any profession, anything whatsoever, you're looking at anything from a distance, they don't see the reality of that thing. So whether it's a YouTuber, like look at the top YouTubers, right? People say, I want to be a top YouTuber. I want to be an influencer. I want to be the guy who's, when he posts a video, he gets 1 million views in 2 hours. I want to be that guy, right? What they don't see is all the work the YouTuber put in. The YouTuber is sitting there, they're on their computer doing all this analytic stuff, like looking to see, all right, what words should we use? Let's split test this to see which videos are the best. Let's split test the images and all that. That's what they don't see behind the scenes. And so that's what happens when it comes to people creating content. They don't see that stuff behind the scenes. So they think to themselves, yeah, I can produce a lot of content. Then when they start to do it, they're like, dang, this is a lot of work. And then they naturally give up because they don't see where it's going. They don't see how the content is going to produce revenue or anything like that. So that's the first thing that you really want to think about, in terms of, you just want to ask yourself, are you willing to do this for the rest of your life? And that's what you literally have to ask yourself. Like, am I going to do this for the rest of my life? Am I going to produce a podcast for the rest of my life? Am I going to create videos for the rest of my life? It doesn't matter if it's on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. It doesn't matter where it is. You're just asking yourself, like, hey, when VR comes out and AR, when all that cool stuff comes out, am I still going to be producing my podcast? Am I still going to produce videos? Like, sure, the videos are going to be virtual reality. It's going to be cooler, but am I willing to do that every single day for the rest of my life, or once a week, or whenever you decide to do it? But you got to ask yourself in terms of, like, are you willing to do it for the rest of your life? That's the first thing that you do when it comes to becoming a content machine. You have to decide to become a machine. You got to say, all right, I'm going to wake up every day like, all right, and then you just get going, right? So that's the first thing. Then after you decide, now it's a matter of coming up with ideas. And so when you come up with the ideas, a lot of people say, like, how do you come up with so many ideas? If you're doing a Facebook Live every day, if you're creating videos every day, how do you come up with so many ideas? And they don't understand that coming up with the ideas, it's really, really easy. And there's plenty of different ways to do this. I'll show you real quick. Someone comment in terms of what your topic is. I want to know exactly what your topic is if you guys are producing content. I want to see, and we'll look up some ideas real quick. Ultimately, when it comes to ideas, you got to think everything is an idea, no matter what. So obviously you're listening in terms of what people are saying to you, in terms of comments, all that sort of stuff. You can create videos around that, but you got to think that everything is an idea. And this is just a matter of, you can take, let's say this, right? So this is a remote control to the light. So I can turn off the lights, turn them back on. So this is a remote control to the lights. I can sit here and I can think, okay, how can I come up with an idea for creating content around this? Well, an idea for this is simply effectiveness. I can say, okay, I'm going to show you how to be more efficient with your time. And so I say, all right, I'm going to show you how this thing makes me insanely efficient with my time. You know how when it comes to lights, you got to actually get up and you got to go flip the switch and you got to turn the lights and you got to adjust it. Well, now we have a remote. It makes me more efficient with my time. You got to be efficient with your time, right? And so the ideas are everywhere. It doesn't really matter what the idea is. It's just everywhere. You just have to actually look for it, okay? So let's see. Getting more leads at trade shows. All right, so Alex is a trade show guy. The other Alex is a anti-bullying guy. John, rodeos. All right, so let's do the bullying, since Alex commented on that first. So let's say I want some ideas for the bullying. First thing is, you can simply go to Amazon and type in bullying. Let's see, ebook. So this is a really simple way to actually get some ideas for any topic, is I'll simply click on whatever book this is. Let's look at the chapters inside the book. Let's let this thing load, if it'll pop up or not. But basically, I'm going to look at the chapters. I'm going to see what are they talking about in here. So let's see. Oh, they wrote it like a kid. That's actually pretty cool, actually. And so normally, though, books have chapters, and you can actually see the title. So let's see. But in order to end this book, so I don't want to read through all this thing, but basically I would look in terms of the actual chapter that's going on, the chapter titles. Let's see this one. Bullying real. So all I'm really doing is just looking to see what did they talk about, and that's what I'm going to talk about. You're going to put your own spin on it. So let's let this thing load. Here we go. So here are the chapter titles. So let's see, the bullying epidemic. So that I would create a video on that, a bullying epidemic, and then obviously I'd create a video on presidents being bullies, and so I'd create all sorts of stuff. So why does the bullying happen? It's like what to do about bullying. So basically, number one is you can simply just go to Amazon. You can just look at the chapters to a book. You can obviously go to YouTube and do the same thing. You can do the same thing on YouTube. If you have trade shows, you say, okay, trade shows on YouTube, and you look to see, all right, what are the comments people are posting in the videos? What are the chapters people post in a book? Rodeos, same thing, the rodeos. So it's a matter of, when it comes to ideas, you got to think that ideas are everywhere. It's just a matter of, can you see them? And that's all you're doing. And on top of that, not only can you see them, but can you look at anything, look at, like, let's say this microphone, and figure out how to take this microphone and put it into your topic. So let's say anti-bullying, right? So if this microphone has nothing to do with bullying. It's just a microphone. But if I try to think, well, how can I fit this into a topic that I'm going to talk about in terms of actual content? I'm going to say, I'm going to think, okay, let's not amplify the bullies or something or whatever. And then I'll start talking about, like, you know what, if the person who speaks the loudest, the person with the microphone, they're usually the ones who are the bullies or whatever. I'm probably all wrong at this point talking about bullying, but you get it. Basically, you try to figure out, all right, what is this object or anything, and then how do I fit that into my topic? That's all you're really doing when it comes to ideas. And then you just sit down for an hour and just literally just create ideas. In fact, let me show you guys this as well. So what I do with ideas, I use Asana in terms of the entire workflow for everything. So here it's like a list of ideas that I have in terms of videos that I want to create. This doesn't mean I'm going to actually create these videos. It just means it was an idea that I had. And then here's the ones where I'm probably working on them to where it's more likely to be filmed. And then obviously over here, these are the ones that are filmed. But I always sit down and I think of ideas. And if I'm, let's say I'm just naturally out and about and I come up with an idea. Someone says something to me. I'm like, oh, that'd be a really cool idea for a video. So then I'll just pull out my phone and then I'll just open the app, the note app, and I'll just type in the idea in there. That way I don't forget the thing. But basically, you should never run out of ideas. So enough of that. So let's talk about in terms of the different types of content, because when you're actually producing content, this is where you get really strategic about it if you want to produce a lot of content. And I do want to stress this. It's not even about producing a lot of content. It's just about promoting the content. But that's a whole other video. I'm just showing you guys how to produce a lot of content at this point. So understand there are different types of content that you can create. There's the live form like this. We're live. Instagram, Facebook, we're live. The benefit of this, I mean, people feel like they can touch you. So it's like, reach out and touch me, right? So it's like people feel like they can touch you, right? And obviously there's no editing involved. So I started literally at 9 o'clock Pacific time, click go live. I talk, do whatever for however long, 40 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, however long I want to go for. You sit there and you talk on the live, bam, you hit end, you're done. All you do is you upload the video to all the other places, YouTube, Vimeo, all the other places, you're done. It's really simple. Obviously live is good. The bad thing about live is reality is boring. That's the bad thing about going live. So when I see a lot of people and they're producing content, and their first thing is like, let me just do a live video with my phone, right? I think to myself, you shouldn't have done that. Like, you shouldn't have really done live, because, I mean, going live, people understand this. They understand reality is boring. It's really hard to keep people's attention in a live video for a long period of time. So understand that's probably the hardest thing. Reality is boring. And then also, some people will get demotivated by a lack of views. Like they just get demotivated because they're so focused on the now. They're like, all right, I'm live on my phone. They're like, oh, nobody showed up. Huh. right? And so they get demotivated by that. The reason you'll ever get demotivated for something like that is because you're not thinking long term about what you're trying to actually do. So if you think, all right, I'm filming this live video just so I can be really quick with it, so I don't have to edit anything. That's the purpose of why I'm filming this video. It doesn't matter if there's 1 or 1 million people on this live video. I'm going to do the same thing. So you film the live video, you do your thing, and then bam, you upload that video and you promote the video, right? So you're thinking in terms of the long term about how, like, eventually this video is going to get some views and all that sort of stuff, right? So you're thinking long term. That's how you don't get demotivated, is when you think long term. So there's obviously the live videos. Then there's the one take videos. The one take videos, I call them one take because I do it in one take. I mean, you can do it multiple takes, but I call them one take videos because I do it in one take. These are the videos where these are more professional. It's more either with my phone or with a DSLR camera. And so all I do is I sit down, and I don't usually use this mic. So let's say I'm sitting down, the camera's right here. And so it's got all this in the background. The camera's right here, and I'm just talking about a topic. These are like 5 to 10 minute videos where I say, here's how you become a content machine, and first step this, second step this, third step this. And I'm going through that for like 5-10 minutes, right? And I do it all in one take because, once again, the editing is going to be really easy. All I have to do at that moment is cut the beginning, cut the end to where it just starts on time, ends on time. So it's just really easy with that. And the con about this is it is kind of hard to keep people's attention once again. So it's like you do it in one take. It's very similar to live. The only difference is that it's not live. So it's hard to keep people's attention. So there's live, there's the one take, then there's the professional videos. These are the videos where they look cool as all hell. They look like a movie or like a professional YouTuber did it, to where it's like you see the B-roll and all the cool stuff. There's those types of videos, right? The pros with those is obviously it looks good as hell. I mean, it looks cool as hell. It's like, damn, they see that you're actually someone who's putting effort into this, which means you're going to probably last a while, which also means you probably are an expert in your industry as well. Because, I mean, people who put that much time and effort into something, they're more serious about it than someone who just pulls out a phone and just says, all right, everybody. So it's like when you have a professional video, it just shows people that you're more serious. So there's that type as well. The con with this, and this is a big con, like a huge con, is that it takes up a lot of time. Like, hands down, takes up a lot of time. And then you got to ask yourself in terms of diminishing returns. So just because you produce a well-produced video, YouTube video where, I mean, it looks like damn near Steven Spielberg, Christopher Nolan edited the thing. Just because you do that, it doesn't mean you're going to get a lot of views on it. It doesn't mean anything whatsoever. The only thing it means is that people are going to say, oh, that looks cool. That's the only thing it actually means. I was talking about this with a friend, and we were talking about how a lot of videos, the ones where it's just like you and your phone, those videos tend to get even more views than the really professionally made videos. And the reason is just because it's like you're pulling back a curtain, to where, like, the professional videos, you have like a mask on, right? Whereas the video where you're just holding your phone, it's more like, here's how I really am. Here's how I'm really feeling. So it's more like they can really get to know you type of thing. But those are the main ones. Oh, and then social media, obviously. And so social media is obviously a different type of content that you can produce. Now, with all of that, right? So social media, there's live, there's the one take, there's the professional, pro-made videos, there's social media type of content. With all of that, there's so much content that you have to produce. How do you do it in a really efficient and effective way, right? So that's what I want to talk about in terms of that. But just understand that the different ones, understand the benefits of each one and the downsides of each one. This is where I talk about in terms of strategy. It's more along the lines of, what's your strategy? So in the beginning, you probably want to do more like the one take videos, and then the professionally made videos where you're posting those at YouTube, and you're simply building up your email list, and you're selling programs, you're selling stuff to the list, you're sending them the content. You're not really doing a ton of live videos in the beginning, right? Because in the beginning, you're trying to get found. You want people to find you, and you want those videos to be some of your best videos. So you don't want to go on for an hour in a live video and people like, get to the friggin' point. This dude talks too much. And you don't want to do that in a live video, whereas you can simply just condense a 1 hour video down to 5 minutes into a professionally good looking video. So in the beginning, you got to think more along those lines, right? And understand that you don't need to do everything. So in order to become a content machine, you can't do everything. Like you can't sit there and say, I'm going to do Snapchat, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Vimeo, and then we're going to have a podcast. You can't do all that stuff because what's happening is you're not allowing time to fit into the equation. So you don't realize how long it's going to take you to produce the content. So you got to ask yourself, what's the purpose of what I'm trying to accomplish, right? So in the beginning, your purpose is simply just to kind of get found. That's your purpose in the beginning, which means Snapchat makes zero sense for you. So if you're using Snapchat, well, the problem with Snapchat is nobody can find you. They can't really discover you, right? There's really no use of hashtags or anything. Snapchat is more for people like, hey, here's my Snapchat username and add me. And that's what it's really for. So Snapchat is horrible to get discovered. It's something you will absolutely hands down ignore in the beginning. Versus something like Instagram. Instagram, people can find you. They can do the hashtags. You can do your hashtags. People can click on the hashtags and then they find you and all that sort of stuff. So you can get found on Instagram, right? But even within Instagram, you got to ask yourself, there's IGTV, there's Instagram stories, and then there's your feed, and then there's live videos on Instagram. So there's like 4 different things on freaking Instagram that you can do just on that itself. Now you got to ask yourself, once again, the purpose of what you're trying to do. If you do Instagram stories, well, stories are for the people who already know you. They've seen you, right? So they already added you on Instagram. So you're thinking to yourself, well, my goal is to get found. So I'm not going to create a million stories, all right? Because the only people who are going to see my stories are the ones who added me on Instagram. It's like, all right, I'm not going to do that. IGTV. IGTV is one of those things where it's so new right now, nobody's really using it. So that's out, right? So then there's your Instagram feed. Instagram feed, that's going to help you get found because you can do the hashtags and all that sort of stuff, right? So you got to ask yourself in terms of in the beginning, where are you? Like, where are you right now in your business? And that's how you're going to decide in terms of which content and where to produce it at, right? So that's the first thing that you're going to do. And even with something like Twitter and Facebook, right? So Facebook, it's mostly your friends. So yeah, mostly your friends, or at least people you kind of know or whatever, or someone who just felt like adding you, right? So it's mostly those people, but you can't get found on Facebook, not the same way people find you on Instagram. They don't use it the same way. So even though you can include hashtags in your Facebook post, nobody really uses that on Facebook. So once again, it's like, well, what are you going to use Facebook for? That's why right now I literally only use Facebook for doing the live videos right now, and then also our Facebook group for our program. I rarely scroll through my Facebook newsfeed on the phone or on the computer. I rarely scroll through. That's why I don't see anybody's stuff. I just know what to use it for, right? So that's the first thing, simply understanding what to use it for. Now let me talk about the actual workflow process, the entire workflow process for each one of these things. And I'll start out with the live, right? So right now we are live. Let me tell you what I do the second I wake up till now, right? And then afterwards, right? Well, I wake up, I do my thing, I do my boxing thing, right? Just whoop some ass. Just Muhammad Ali status, right? So that's the first thing that I do, but that's irrelevant. So first thing, after I'm done, I eat, all that sort of stuff. Now I think to myself, okay, I need a thumbnail for the video. I obviously need a headline for the video. I need the video, aka the live, and then I need to post on my website. I got to post a video once it's done. I got to upload the video once it's done. So here's what I do. I wake up, I immediately take a picture for the thumbnail, and let me do this real quick. So this is what I have for the picture, right? So this is simply just holds my phone. This is just a little tripod or a monopod thing. It's not a tripod. The reason I chose a monopod is because I can fit the monopod anywhere. So it's like, it's just one stick. So I can fit this here on the desk. I can put it right over here. I can set it right next to the camera. Whereas a tripod, it's the legs. So now it's just in the way of stuff, right? So I have this. It's usually set up like right here, like a little bit off to the side of the camera, and then I take a picture. Bam, I just set my phone there. I usually take a picture with the phone. I take a picture. That's for the thumbnail. Let's move that out of the way. All right, so I take a picture instantly. All right. I get the picture for the thumbnail. Now I go into my phone and I edit the picture in terms of how do I want it to look? How do I want the thumbnail to look? At this moment, I don't actually know how I want the thumbnail to look. I just go into all these photo editing apps and I just play around with it. I'm just like, all right, let's see what it looks like this. What about this? All right. I just play around with stuff, right? And so like today's thumbnail, let's see. I think you guys saw the thumbnail for today. Whoops, let's go here. There we go. It's like today's thumbnail over here. See if I can zoom in here. This was actually created really fast, just because I use a photo editing app where the editing app, it allowed me to have like a machine face, and then I added a lens flare to it, this light to it, and then I added some text where it said content machine. So I did that in about 5 minutes, if that. Usually it takes longer, by the way. I do want to say that. It usually takes longer. This was just easy today in terms of that. So first, I take the picture, I edit the thing, so now I'm ready to go. Once this video is done, once this live video is done, I simply just, it is automatically saved to my computer. I instantly upload it to YouTube, and while it's uploading, I now go into Facebook and I change anything I need to change. I add the description, I change the title, I add the thumbnail that I just took, I add that, and then bam, I hit save, good to go in Facebook. Now I'm waiting on YouTube for their thing. I'm like, all right, YouTube, hurry up with your little thing. While I'm waiting on YouTube to upload, I go into my blog, the Speaking Lifestyle blog, Benji Bruce blog, whichever blog post I want to put it on, I go into the blogs. I copy all the notes that I have. So if I took bullet points for this little talk, I copy those bullet points, post it inside the WordPress blog, and I'm copying and pasting at this point. Copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste, save, bam, and I'm good to go, right? So within about 5 minutes after I'm done with this video, everything's been uploaded, optimized, thumbnail, all that stuff. It's good to go. It's just really, really instant. What photo editing app would you recommend? I recommend Enlight, E-N-L-I-G-H-T, but ultimately I'm using like, I have about, let's see, I don't know, anywhere between 10 apps, maybe 10 to 15 apps that I usually use most of the time. And these are just apps. Every app has its own purpose to it. So I don't use just one app. So like, let's go back to the actual picture. There we go. So like this thing took me, like I said, it took about 5 minutes, if that. I use one app for my face to have a Terminator look. I use another app for this glare in the eye, so there's that little lens flare. And I use another app to write the text where it says content machine. So I use 3 different apps to create this one image here. And if you guys want to actually take a look at if you really want to take a look at what I'm doing in terms of creating the apps, if you go to YouTube and type in Benji Bruce thumbnails or creating thumbnails, let's see, Benji Bruce thumbnail, let's see. All right, yeah, so if you go to YouTube, type in Benji Bruce thumbnails, watch this video here, creating your YouTube thumbnails. This shows you like the apps that I use. It shows you my entire process in terms of creating the actual thumbnails and stuff. So you'll see a cool video on that. All right, so that's what I do. That's the process. I take the picture, I create the thumbnail, I film the live video. Once I get the live video done, I already have the headline and all that stuff. It's all written out, so I'm just copying and pasting, posting inside the WordPress blog, and bam, I'm good to go with that. All right, so that's a live video. It's really simple in terms of the live stuff. Now let's talk about my workflow for the one-take videos. So the one-take videos, simply, let's say I take a phone or a DSLR camera, and at this point I'm just recording something I'm talking about for 5 minutes. Hey, here's how you do content marketing. Here's the 3 easy steps of content marketing. I do that in one take. So I first film the video. Hands down, number 1, I film the video. After I film the video, I edit it real quick. So remember, I cut the beginning, cut the end. That way there's like no dead time between that. I now just hit record. Not hit record. I upload it to YouTube. While it's uploading at this point, now I take a picture for the YouTube video. So now I create a thumbnail. I'm like, all right, so what's an idea for this thumbnail? All right, what if I pose like this? What if I do this? And so now I focus on creating the thumbnail for that. Once I have the thumbnail, I simply upload all that stuff to the blog, the video. Once it's done uploading, I upload the thumbnails to the blog. And then when it comes to the actual text in the blog, what I do is I write an email for you guys, for the list. So I write an email and I say, hey guys, there's this new video, the greatest video in the world, and oh, you got to check it out. And whatever that email is, I copy and paste that email and post it into the blog. That way I have a description for the blog. I have a description for the YouTube video or the YouTube channel. So I copy and paste my stuff. Like, I'm constantly copying and pasting my stuff. So that's the workflow for that. It's really easy for that one. When it comes to the professional videos though, like this one, whoops, let's go back here. Like this one right here, the thumbnail one. This one is more of the professionally made video, or even this one, the Benji Bruce story. These are the professionally made videos. With these ones, they're done a little bit differently. All right. Whoops. I think I just deleted something on my computer. You guys can't see, but I can see. Well, I can't see anymore because I think I just deleted it. So what I do with the actual thumbnail ones, yep, I'm pretty sure I deleted it. Well, what I do with the pro videos is it's like this. So basically, I sit down, I film the video. I say, okay, what's the video going to be about? Content marketing. I sit down, I film it all in one take once again. So I do it in one take. The one take thing is just so the editing is a lot easier. So I sit down, I film it in one take. At this moment, I bring the camera over here. So I bring it over here to the desk. I just replay the video. So I'm just like, all right, let me replay it. And at this moment, I'm going into my notes app on the computer and I'm creating a B-roll shot list to where if I say in the video, I use a microphone when I'm doing content marketing. So if I mention the word microphone, well, in my mind, I think, well, I need B-roll footage of this microphone. All right, cool. And then I hit play again. And then I'm talking in the video. Oh, and then all of a sudden I use my iPhone to film the video. All right, pause. And then I go into the app and I say, okay, B-roll of iPhone. And at this point, I'm just taking notes on what I talked about in the video, and I want to get B-roll shots. So as soon as I'm done with the B-roll, the list of the B-roll footage, I now capture the B-roll footage. So at this point, I'm simply filming with my professional camera at this point, not a phone. I film with the professional camera. I'm just like, all right, how does this look in terms of B-roll with the mic? Just, and I like try to get a cool like look or something with a microphone. Then I try to get a cool look with a phone. It's like, and zoom in, zoom out and all that stuff. So I get all this B-roll footage for that. Now at this point, usually with a professional video, I send it to another guy to edit the video because it's going to take a long time, right? Sometimes I shouldn't do it, but sometimes I actually edit the video myself just because I just have like some idea that I specifically want. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to do this for about 5 minutes and I'll send him the video. Then I just end up editing the whole thing. But basically, if you can't send it to somebody, you're going to have to edit it yourself. So I first get the main footage. I get the B-roll footage. At this point, I'll go into YouTube and I'll go to YouTube's music thingamajigger, their music library, and I'll download a song. Like I will not spend more than 2 minutes looking for a song, if that. I'll just go into YouTube, their music library, I'll click on a song and I'll say, bam, all right, sounds good. I'll use that. That song will be the main song for the video, for the professionally made video. And then instantly I go in or the video guy goes in and he edits the whole thing. He adds the B-roll on top, makes it look cool and everything, does what he does, and poof, now there's a professionally really cool looking video. That's the process in terms of that stuff. Now, when it comes to the social media stuff, what I'm doing with social media is I'm really doing more like a content syndication with social media. So, for example, if you look at the content on my Instagram page, you'll see that a lot of it is actually from, or at least recently, a lot of it recently is from these Facebook Live videos. So after I'm done with a video, I simply take 60 seconds of that and I just upload it to Instagram. That's all I'm doing. I just take 60 seconds. Let's cut it at 60 seconds. Bam, upload it to Instagram. So now I have videos for Instagram. I may upload it to Facebook. May or may not. I don't know. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I don't do anything with Twitter. I just don't do anything with Twitter. That's literally all I do in terms of posting to social media. It's more like content syndication in terms of just killing multiple birds with one stone. Like right now, I got Instagram going, Instagram Live. I got the Facebook Live going. And so I'm thinking in terms of how do I kill two birds with one stone when it comes down to producing content. And here's essentially how I'm efficient with everything in terms of producing content. So initially, I only did these Facebook Lives for people who joined the program. But I thought to myself, all right, when it comes down to creating content, what I was doing is I was doing Facebook Live for the people who bought the program. I was creating separate content for the people who didn't buy the program. Then I was creating more content for my Benji Bruce brand all by itself. And so it was like a ton of content, right? So all I did is I said, all right, we're no longer going to do the Facebook Live only in the private group. We're going to do it for everybody, which now means I no longer have to create content specifically to Speak and Lifestyle. I can just do the Facebook Lives just for them because it's really quick and everything. And then I can spend more time on the Benji Bruce brand because that's where we're doing these workshops for 30 grand, 40 grand, 50 grand. So I want to spend more time here rather than just spending a lot of time creating content. So that's how I became more efficient, is just knowing which content to produce where, right? That's what you really got to think. And then obviously, like I said, with the social media, it's just a matter of just being just content syndication with social media. And you simply want to ask yourself, what do I need to create? So if you plan everything out, here's what happens. You say, I'm going to create one video a day or one podcast a day or whatever you're trying to create with your content, or 2 a week or something like that. At this moment, you say, okay, 1 video a day. So now I got to create, or let's say 5 videos for the week. So you create 5 out of the 7 days. So you say, all right, 5 videos. I need 5 videos. All right, which also means I need 5 thumbnails. So I got to take 5 pictures, which also means I need 5 headlines. And you're thinking of all the things that you have to create. You create a list of all this stuff and you check mark it as you go. You're like, all right, video number 1 down, thumbnail number 1 down, headline number 1 down, description down. You check mark all this stuff. So that way you know how much you need to create throughout the week. And what I did in the beginning is I would do that all the time. So I knew, let's say, I would create a video every day, but let's say for 30 days, 30 videos. So I'm sitting there and I would plan it all out. 30 videos, 30 photos, all that sort of stuff. Now let me film all 30 of them today and tomorrow. And bam, I'd film all 30 of them. That's what I would do. So if you schedule it out and you know exactly what you're going to do when you're going to do it, you're going to become a content machine. Trust me, if you schedule it out. And so understand, though, that no matter how much content you produce, it's about revenue. And this is where I had the quote on Instagram where I said, if your number of social media followers is bigger than your bank account, then you're building your business wrong. Do not focus on followers. You're not producing content to generate followers. You're producing content to generate revenue. You're building a business. That's what you have to truly, truly understand, truly get that through your head. And when you understand that you're building a business, you start to get more efficient and effective with your time. So you start to say, okay, it doesn't make sense to spend time trying to sell a $5,000 program when I can spend the same amount of time and sell a $50,000 program. So you got to understand in terms of just being efficient with your time. And so understand, you're a business. You're not a content creator. And that's what I tell people. I'm like, look, I'm not a content creator. I'm a business. And it just so happens we create content, which means I'm going to spend as little time creating content as possible and more time generating sales. That's how you really have to think about your content machine. There's a purpose behind it in terms of creating all the content. Any questions about what the whole process is in terms of becoming a content machine? But like I said, in order to become a content machine, you got to make a decision to become a content machine. But before you make that decision, understand how you're going to generate sales. This is why I tell people, don't start with content. Start with, how am I going to actually generate revenue? Content is something you add on top of your business. Like, you have a sales process that actually generates leads, gets the sale, and then you have the content on top of that. You don't do content alone. All right. So let's see. Rod said in the authority section, you say that my market plus my preference defines focus on video versus podcast versus blogs. More to say on that. Yeah, I'm trying to remember exactly what was said in there. So you said a market plus a preference defines on video. Oh, okay. I think I know what I was talking about. Yeah. So that is a matter of when you're creating content, you think about the audience and how they want to consume the content. So if you are producing, let's say a Facebook Live, right? A CEO will never watch a Facebook Live video for an hour, despite how much they like you. They will not sit down and watch for an hour because they got stuff to do. They're like, I got a freaking multi-billion-dollar business to run. I ain't got time to sit down for an hour and watch you no matter how entertaining you are. And so a CEO will not do that. A CEO is more interested in something they can consume quick. It's like, okay, bam. It's like a written blog post where they won't even read it. They'll scan through the thing. They're just like going through quick, right? And then also like a podcast. CEOs are more likely to consume that because they can do it on their drive to work. So you got to think in terms of like, how does your audience want to consume the content? That's how you really want to focus on creating the content. And so that's where your mind really should be. Everything ultimately comes down to you thinking about their perspective. And this is why Jeff Bezos is hands down 100% right when he says the reason why we've succeeded is because we strictly focus on the customers. Like, it's all about the customers. Customers are number one. Shareholders are number two. Whereas with 99% of businesses, shareholders are number one and everybody else 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? And Amazon with Jeff Bezos, he truly means it too. He doesn't just say it, he means it. What you have to do when you're growing your business, marketing yourself, you have to always think from their perspective. The more you think from your perspective, the more likely you're going to say things that don't matter to them, and the more likely they won't buy because they're just like, well, we're not interested in that thing, right? And so that's why, like, when you think in terms of creating content, you got to think in terms of how do they like to consume it. So if I'm talking to a CEO, I'm not going to do a Facebook Live ever. Like if my whole thing in terms of or let's say not even a CEO, let's say, or actually, yeah, let's say CEOs, I'm talking about hiring, right? Or building culture, building a great culture, right? I'm not going to do a lot of videos on building cultures around Facebook Live. Instead, I'll create quick snippet videos on YouTube, like a minute video, 5-minute video. I'll create quick videos like that on YouTube for them, right? And then the long video is going to be like a webinar or something like that. But that's what I mean in terms of the audience. Let's see, you say, who are your target audience prospects for the professional videos, and how far along should you create phone videos before you make a professional one? All right, so the professional one, when it comes to the professional one, professional videos and just a simple video with your phone, it's the same thing. It's just a matter of how long it takes you, right? So that's the only difference in terms of the professional videos and then the phone video. The content and all that, it can be the exact same thing. It's just the way you present it is very differently. So if you're creating a 5-minute video and it looks like damn near Christopher Nolan made the video versus a simple video with your phone, literally same thing. It's just a matter of how long is it going to take you. So this is why you think to yourself, all right, I'm building a business here. I can't spend 5 hours a day creating a really nice professionally made video. I can't do that. I have to spend more time generating sales in my business, which means I'm just going to take my phone and film with my phone most of the time. Every now and again, I'll spend time creating a professional video. So that's what you're doing with that. You're simply thinking in terms of time. So it's like I said, I mean, no matter what, even if you're a professional in terms of like Final Cut Pro and all that, you're a professional videographer, it's still faster to film with your phone. Just bam, film with your phone, do something real quick versus creating a Christopher Nolan type of video. It just comes down to what are you going to do for the rest of the day? And if the rest of your day isn't focused on sales in your business, then you're spending time doing the wrong thing in your business. This is like, once again, I tell people don't focus on creating content in the beginning because it's just going to take up so much of your time. You don't create content until you have a sales process. All right. And so that's essentially the biggest difference with those videos. So let me just read that again. He said, who are your target audience prospects for the target audience? Yeah. So the target audience is the same target audience. All right. Just think in terms of your time. Just understand, a lot of people keep thinking like, oh, how do I, Like they just want to create content, whether it's social media content, whether it's YouTube videos, they want to be a YouTuber, influencer, whatever. That should not be your mindset. Your mindset is, I'm building a business. In order to build a business, I need to generate sales. And then it just so happens we create content. That's literally your mindset. Just so happens we create content. If most of your day is spent creating content, you're building your business wrong. You're spending your time on the wrong things. Even if you look at a lot of content creators, like the top YouTubers, you'll see that most of their time isn't spent actually creating the video. It's spent actually doing all the other stuff, like all the stuff, the behind the scenes work. So you just want to ask yourself the purpose of what it is you're trying to do. All right. Any other final questions before we are done for today? And tomorrow, by the way, I'm going to show you guys the equipment that I use. So I'll show you guys the camera. I'll show you all the equipment that I use, or most of the equipment, except for this camera here, because I can't show you the equipment while I'm doing a live video. But you get the point. But basically tomorrow I'm going to show you guys all the equipment that I use when creating content. But understand, when it comes to becoming a content machine, you're simply thinking in terms of your time. It's like, how much time are you spending creating this piece of content? And the way you spend very little time is you schedule everything. Schedule, like, all right, I need to create 5 videos for this week. I got to create the 5 photos for this week. And you think in terms of content syndication. So once you create one video, you say, okay, I can upload this video to Facebook and YouTube. And then on top of that, I can take 60 seconds of this video, upload that to Instagram. On top of that, I can just take that and then put it onto Snapchat if I want as well. So you're thinking in terms of content syndication like that. You say, is your backdrop real or isn't it? Yes, it's a real backdrop. Actually, I live in a high rise. Let's see. See? Oh, dang. I almost dropped. That thing almost fell off before. Yeah, it's a real backdrop, Barry. Look at my Instagram. You'll see. All right. Cool. Any other final questions before we are done for today? I'll wait a few seconds. But yeah, once again, in terms of the actual, the actual content machine, I think it really does come down to you making a decision to do it, and then you focusing on time. So you're really thinking in terms like, how long does it take me to create this thing? How can I speed it up? How can I do it in a shorter amount of time without getting rid of the quality, right? So it's just like with it's like with the videos, how the reason why when I do the Facebook Live, I could easily do a Facebook Live, then after I can create the thumbnail, but it doesn't make sense. So before I do the Facebook Live, I create the thumbnail. I take a picture with this monopod over here, and then I'm creating the thumbnail while I'm waiting for 9 a.m. Pacific time, right? So it's just a matter of just being efficient with your time in terms of filling gaps in, and then you're good to go. All right, so let's see. One more. So Rod said, as a newbie, all right, to the Speak Pro Academy thing, where should I start? Don't focus on content until you figured out your sales process. Yeah, Rod, so since you're a newbie to the program, go through the actual Speak Pro modules. So the Speak Pro modules, it walks you through the actual steps that you need to do. So the first step is your website, and then the second step, you're going to actually build a sales process. Rod, you want to ignore all this stuff about creating content. You don't want to create content for what you're doing. All right, you want to ignore all the stuff about creating content, and we'll talk about that another time as well. But you want to simply go through the actual process inside the Speak Pro modules. So walk through that. All right. Cool. All right, so I guess we are good to go for today. So I will talk to you guys tomorrow, 9 a.m. Pacific time. Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Pacific time, we are doing the live videos. And tomorrow we're going to talk about the actual equipment for all this stuff. So I will see you guys tomorrow, 9 a.m. Pacific time. Take care, everybody.